So the end of the Mamushi arc is right upon us. Actually, we're about to get spoilers in about a week. The official chapter drops on the 20th, so that means the spoilers are going to start coming out the 13th because the spoilers always drop exactly 7 days before the official. Just remember that for reference going forward. Of course, if you didn't know that already, then just disregard. But as it pertains to the story right now, this battle is about to end soon, and it looks like Ikimoto has a few options on how I could possibly see this ending going. And it may be a little bit more complicated than you think. So stick around because we're about to really get into it. But before we do, go ahead and drop that like for your boy. We just hit 13,000 subscribers not too long ago, and we're trying to hit 15,000 quick. So if you wouldn't mind helping out with that, then please subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. But anyway, let's get into it. So right now, I would say the Mamushi invasion is in its worst phase possible. With Sarada passed out and Kawaki out for the count, I shouldn't even say Sarada passed out, it's more like on the verge of death. It looks like things are about to get shaky. The fighters left are Team 10, Konohamaru, Mitsuki, Delta, Boruto, and Damon. Now, it does sound like a lot of people, but at this point, the only characters who can even hope to shift the tide of the battle is of course Boruto and Damon. Or are they? You see, that's what you may be thinking, but I think Ikimoto has way more options than it seems. Ikimoto took Kawaki and Sarada out of the fight for a big reason. He wanted to make it impossible for them to take out the majority of the Mamushi clones at the same time. The only options they have now is to shave off their numbers little by little. With there being over 1,000 clones, they don't have a character besides Himawari that has a wide range attack like Kawaki and Sarada. So it's going to be much harder this time around. And I said it's going to be harder not only because they're down 2 significant characters, I'm mainly saying this because they missed their window of opportunity. Because as Mamushi stated, they ignited his innate survival instinct, which caused him to divide over and over again until he surpassed the thousands in numbers. So it's like he let his guard down, and because of that he almost died, but now he's more attentive and locked in. You probably won't get a second chance at a situation like that again. So now from here, there is a lot of different ways the story could go, and some ways don't even involve Eida living. So yes, unfortunately, if there was any time for at least one of the Shinju to actually accomplish their goal, I think that time would be now. So remember, that is one possibility, and also a way to really shake the story up. I mean, how crazy would it be if one of the singularities gotten devoured and taken out the story for good? With how important Eida is, there's no doubt it would be a crazy hit to not only Kashin Koji, but Konoha as a whole. Because now they have no way of gathering information on the past and in real time. So many things will be left in the air. And also they have foreshadowed a potential Eida death earlier on, so Ikimoto has at least thought about it, right? But whether he wants to go through with it or not is still up for debate. Remember, things can always change on the fly. If he wants to kill off Eida right here, the path to do it is there. Although there might be more to it than we think. Like maybe instead of Mamushi simply devouring Eida, it could be a twist that involves either Sarada or Sumire somehow doing something that would result in Eida's death. I mean, we can't ignore this panel right here with Eida telling both of them that she wouldn't mind it if they were the ones to kill her off. I mean, it could be nothing, but then again, it could mean something, or possibly foreshadow a future event. So going into this chapter, I'm keeping that in mind for a potential direction the story could go. And in terms of shock value, I'd say this would hit the hardest, off the rip. But if you want something a bit more, I guess you can say reasonable, Ikimoto has also been showing us a possible way for Konoha to defeat Mamushi, and it actually has nothing to do with brute force at all. It's all about using Mamushi's own ability against him. If you've been paying attention, the ability called Division has a glaring weakness. Initially, Kashin Koji told us about this weakness, but it wasn't until recently where we really started seeing the downside to this ability. It was especially highlighted in chapter 31, as Sarada and Delta were looking at some of the Mamushi clones just beat on each other. As it seems their intelligence dropped so low, it interfered with their basic level of reasoning. And in the most recent chapter, they were seen fighting with each other again, but this time they were fighting to be the first one to get to Eida. And I mean, you can see why this was unreasonable, right? It doesn't matter which clone gets the Eida first because they're all technically Mamushi. But that level of reasoning has disappeared. So now they're just a bunch of brainless animals running around, not much different than your average claw grind. And now the weakness is probably more apparent because 1,000 clones is way more than 200, or whatever number they were at previously. And mind you, even though they're at 1,000 clones, they're still growing. So it could potentially be even more than that. So this would only make their weakness even stronger, right? So they would have to manipulate this weakness somehow to win this fight, making it so his advantage is what caused his downfall. It's all about mind games at this point. You have to make them riot, fight amongst each other. All 1,000 of the clones just destroy each other. After reading chapter 31 and 32, I have to say this is a very possible action. But it doesn't stop there, because at some point, Mamushi is going to decrease in numbers, so his intelligence will increase again, and when it does, he'll just end up creating more bodies. But there's an answer for everything. You see, this is where I think Team 10 really shows off and comes in big. And not everyone is expecting it because obviously, Boruto and Damon are the ones people think will be the ones to end Mamushi. But that doesn't necessarily have to be the case. You see, even though Kawaki and Sarada are down, Konoha still has extremely strong firepower in the form of Himawari. With her Biju Bomb, she can eliminate a large number of clones in one blast, as she was able to do something very similar earlier, except she did it in a way more populated area, so that caused Shikadai to scold her. But looking at it a bit closer now, that was a really good strategy. Have Shikadai use his new shadow casting net technique to trap several bodies in there and then have Himawari blow them all up at once. That's a very viable option, and this time I'm confident it would work. So Ikimoto gets to implement more side characters in the story, and he keeps Eida in the story for a little bit longer. Now, if you had to choose between this option or Eida getting devoured, which one would you choose and why? I think I wouldn't mind keeping Eida in the story for a bit longer because I do think her character is very good for the story. And on top of that, Ikimoto finally started to give her character more life. She started to become way more in tune with her emotions and how she really felt about Sarada and Sumire, and vice versa as well. Her character just evolved into something that Ikimoto could build off of. And I can't lie, I'm interested in seeing what path this leads her down. So to have her go through this character development and chapters later get devoured, it does seem like a wasted opportunity if you ask me. So I guess I'm hoping she makes it out of this situation alive. Now there is one more viable option that Ikimoto could take in this situation, and I'm pretty sure everyone would love this option a bit better than the other two. So this option revolves around Boruto, or more specifically, Momoshiki. A big concern going into this battle was Kawaki. Kawaki seeing Boruto use the karma and then start questioning him. From there, it wouldn't be long until he found out what was really going on, that Boruto and Momoshiki have been in contact with each other, talking and plotting, because based on what he told him in chapter 15 and what he actually seen earlier than that, there would be no way Boruto could go from not being able to control his karma at all to having complete control and mastery over it in such a short time. So that act by itself is sketchy. And if Kawaki finds out what happened between Boruto and Momoshiki, it wouldn't be a pretty sight. As unpredictable Kawaki is, there's no telling what he would decide to do. So it's really important he keeps this a secret as long as it's possible. And that's what he's doing. But now that Kawaki is in this situation to where he is forced to retreat, or he might be knocked unconscious entirely, that gives Boruto this opening to use Momoshiki's power once again. He can't defeat Mamushi otherwise, because in the past, he struggled just fighting one. Now over 1,000, you have to use the karma. It's simply the only way. And this is interesting because, I mean, anytime you get to see Boruto use the karma seal and potentially show off more of its abilities, that's a plus. And if this is the option Ikimoto wants to go, I truly think they're going to try and win the fight with brute force. Possibly have Boruto and Damon destroy the majority of the clones. I mean, while I do think this would be most people's dream scenario, it wouldn't be very good to push the story forward, because if that was the case, then there was no point in the fight making it this far. So if you were to ask me, although I wouldn't mind seeing Boruto go crazy, I mean come on, everybody wants to see that. But besides that, I don't think this is how they defeat Mamushi. It could take up a portion of the chapter, Boruto and Damon just going crazy trying to do whatever they can to buy time, but this is not a permanent solution. It's only a stopgap measure at best. And even before Boruto does all that, he probably has to do what he can to help Sarada. So there's a world where he either uses FTG to remove her from the battlefield completely, or leaves her with someone to tend to her, or potentially heal her. Because there's no doubt he would be greatly needed from the others. So to be honest, these options will be the only way I could see this operation concluding. It just depends how Ikimoto chooses to close it out. I mean, to throw salt on open wounds, and I don't think this would happen, but if Code were to make his move now, I wouldn't be surprised. In a high intense situation like this, he would have to make use of it if he wants to eliminate Kashin Koji and Boruto. Most likely Kashin Koji because of Boruto being so occupied at the moment. But even that, it puts Boruto in an impossible position. Either stay and help Damon defend Eida and save Konoha, or help Koji and Inujin. So that could be a potential cliffhanger too, for the next chapter. Truly a new unexpected move from Ikimoto. So yeah, there's a lot of options he has here. The story made a great shift, and now we don't really know what to expect. Now if I were to say who gets a chapter cover, it wouldn't be as simple as last chapter. I mean, everyone knew Damon was getting the cover, but this chapter I'm not too sure. And if Ikimoto determines the cover based off the pattern he normally follows, it would be someone who's made some sort of impression the chapter prior. And if it was someone that hasn't got a cover yet, then the options are extremely slim. And even though the likes of Delta didn't get a cover, I don't think she gets one just for the sake of it. Although I will say if Code gets the cover, then they're in for some trouble. But for real though, I'd say the cover might go to Himawari. With the potential impact she will have in defeating Mamushi, I think she will undoubtedly get the cover. But what do you think? I for one don't think Ikimoto has a lot of options going into next chapter. I could be wrong, but only time will tell. So what direction do you think Ikimoto will go for chapter 33? Boruto using Momoshiki's power, Team 10 coming in big, Eida potentially getting devoured? I mean, there's a lot of options we got here. Or do you have some of your own that I didn't mention in the video? Like, how does this story get even darker? I want to know all your thoughts and ideas down below in the comment section, so please don't hold back. But anyway, if you all enjoyed today's video or found it somewhat intriguing, go ahead and leave a like, comment, subscribe, and turn on them post notifications so you don't miss another video like this or when I go live for chapter spoilers. The chapter 33 hot takes video is going to be out soon, so be on the lookout for that post on my page. But until next time, I'll see you boys and girls later, and I'm out. Peace.